Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Diamond Ana. I think this is like 3400, so relatively high diamond. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join the Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, all that good stuff. Hide chat plus playback 5. I mean, I can do high jet. Oh, thank you. I think my playback will be good, but she could be good, right, on this?
Group up with me. Rendezvous at my position.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. 5, 4. Need someone to tuck you in.
1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So here you are. You set up with your Ana. You got Mercy as your partner, and you've got a Rein and a Zarya that you're working with. So
Scratch, you'll be fine.
plenty fine tank line. Unfortunate that you lost him. Happens. Reasonable. You need to change the angle.
I will keep
Yep.
you here.
No, you can't be here. I don't know why you think you can be here. Ducking behind this cover for a moment was good. The nade was fine. Missing him earlier, I can live with it. You had the option of either going, I'm just writing my people off and leaving through here, or you had the option of dropping down here, but then you still needed to go this way. Like, you still needed, there was no situation where, let's rewatch this. You go, yes, I'm here. Oh shoot, they've successfully rounded the corner on me and chipped me down.
Need healing.
Yeah, you're not going to get it. Good, you do get
I
it.
will keep
And
you
then
healed.
you go, hey, I'm using this, but then you walk down here, and I have no idea why you're walking down here, unless you're going to keep rotating here, which isn't the best rotation in the world, but I understanding you're not wanting to abandon your Reinhardt, you're wanting to sort of go, hey, I'm going to keep him in it, etc. Like, it's not amazing, but if that's the case, go left. Why are you staying here? Why are you staying here? Why are you AD strafing here? This is not a place that you can stay. You can be working your way over here, and if you do some AD strafing on the way, and stop it, double back, okay, go. So be it, but you just like planted here, and then did your AD strafing here. No, we had to be generally working our way this way if this is what we were doing. Honestly, though, once you went here, once you got the little Mercy Peak to heal you up, you're not winning this 4v6. You're simply not winning this 4v6. It's going to be very hard to get both you and your Reinhardt out. Bye-bye, Reinhardt. And you walk yourself over here, and you walk into second, and you push back in with your team.
It'll take more than that to keep me out of the fight. Group up with me. Watching your back.
Fine. You have the Sonic. It's giving you decent info. You're immediately going to sleep that? Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So, this is like a scary place. I'd like to keep one of your cooldowns to interrupt breather here, but I can live with the nade usage here. I can. I don't like that you continue to push forward, though. There's no situation where I want to be close to this fight. Like, maybe you were thinking, I want to get all 4 of us with the nade, not just the 3 of them, but at this point, you hadn't taken damage yet. And if that was the thought, you now immediately want to back up where you have this corner to play on again, because you don't need to touch the cart. You touching the cart is absolutely meaningless. If your Reinhardt goes down, they are going to get this cart. You are not going to be the one to stop them. And if, your Reinhardt goes down and you still hold the cart, it's going to be because your McCree touches it, or because your Zarya touches it. It's not going to be because you touch it, I promise. So, please back. Please back. Back. Take a step back. Take a step back. Take a step left. Take a step left. No, you're too slow. You're too slow. And then you just pull your sleep dart. Like, what are you aiming at here? You're like, I'm taking damage, so I'm going to pop my sleep dart. At what? At what? At that? No. No. You have to actually know what you're sleep darting. Now, it's okay for you to be like, hey, I'm going to trust myself to aim my sleep dart. That's okay. You don't have to aim your shot up perfectly. You can be like, I know where the threat is, I'm sleeping it, but you can't be like, I don't know where the threat is and I press sleep. And you clearly didn't know where the threat was.
Heal down.
The payload has reached the
Healing enough.
Fine. This time you cut your losses and abandon them. I'm fine with that. I wish you'd done that the first time. Turn, check, good. You can have to sleep him to get out.
Sniper, be careful.
Don't shout. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. What? Fine.
You're covered.
Why do you think you can do this? That Widow has not been driven back. If that Widow repeaks, what exactly is your plan? Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me? Because that looks like your plan. That looks like your plan. You can't have left your cover. Like, it sucks that she gets to know exactly where you are because you have to keep playing this cover. So, you know, she knows exactly where you are. You could rotate like this if you wanted and then be like, I'm going to go like this. You could go here if you wanted and be like, oh, let me take that offensive shot. Let me take that offensive shot. You could then try to do a quick peek from here if you wanted once, exactly once, but I wouldn't even recommend that because it's, as you can tell, basically the same sight line. Like, you don't really want to go, you've had to keep using this as much as it sucks. You can't walk into the open. That is not an upgrade in any way, shape, or form. And that Widow is not adequately checked. You don't have like a Diva up here or a Winston up here or a Genji up here that is telling you that it's safe to rotate. Okay, a little better that you go over here, but of course that happens. Like, you didn't have great places to go, but this was noticeably worse than the other not great option. Better! Now play from here. You don't get any offensive contribution. Your contribution right now is purely going to be in a supportive heal manner, and that's not great, but it's better than getting yourself eliminated, putting yourself in a place where you're highly likely to get eliminated. And now you'll be able to transition to be more aggressive because the Widow's been dealt with.
Go.
You don't realize the Widow's been dealt with. Yeah, you don't realize that. Okay.
This will only hurt for a minute.
That's just a game sense issue. Pay more attention to the feed.
I remember this feeling.
Okay.
Rendezvous at my position.
Snipers suck to play into as support. Somewhat, yeah. But there's adjustments you can make. Like, you can do what this Ana eventually got around to, too late, which was, hey, I'll play from here. I don't get offensive contribution, but I still get some contribution. I can still do something. And when I see she fires a shot, when I see a Widow shot go over here, then I know I have a moment that I can peek and try to take a shot at her, or try to keel up someone who's past my usual line of sight, etc. You just have to get more creative, or go for a sleep dart, whatever the case may be. Can't wait to deal with them all the time when there's only one tank. Maybe that wasn't there rumors of like a ninja support or something. Maybe that'll be the support sniper counter. Any tips on tracking the feed? I'm bad at it too. Yeah, so when it comes to that, you just need to build it sort of in as a habit. So you need to always be tracking. Well, I don't want to say that because too many people get overwhelmed if I say that, even though at a higher level it's true. You're trying to track all 12 people on the board. So what you're doing is you should always have some sense of where some number of players are, and you try to build out the number of players that you're used to, and you get to then go, okay, how many people are in the fight? And the way that you tell how many people are in the fight are, what do you see with your eyeballs? You know, your eyeballs. Those are, okay, what can we see with those? That's not a very good eyeball. What do we see with our eyeballs? What do we hear with our ears? What do we see if we press tab in terms of, oh, look, this person is eliminated, this person is eliminated. And then what do we have from the feed over here? And when it comes to the feed, some of this is going to be, hey, I'm going to just build a habit of actively looking at it. Like I'm going to build a habit of looking at it. And that might be I start with, I'm going to look at it every time I'm behind cover. Or it might start with, I'm going to look at it every time I'm between fights to see like, hey, what's going on here? Between fights isn't a great time, but you could start there if you really wanted a baby step. So maybe every time I'm on cover, or every time I hit the reload button, I'm going to take a look at the feed. Like something along those lines is a good thing. And then you build yourself up to, I'm going to take a look at it every 10 seconds, every 5 seconds. And then you just get to the point where you're sort of tracking it with your peripheral vision. You're sort of glancing at it every once in a while, similar to how you track your health. So like you sort of start with either I'm going to look at it once every 10 seconds and I'm just going to try to make that a habit, or you try to make it a habit to look at it anytime you tuck behind cover and have any moment of safety. Those are sort of what you're going to do there, but you're also listening for the sound effects of, okay, what happens? Did someone hit a shot? Is that likely to have finished someone? Did a TNT go out? Did our McCree just flash someone? And you're sort of expecting, you're sort of preempting, is something going to be in the feed here? There's no secret sauce for it. That's the best I've got for you guys. Sorry. Blame the controller made a support that can cling to walls. Kind of ninja. Okay. Okay.
Barriers unstable.
That had to be a sleep dart. I'm not remotely scared, and I'm not running for cover. If you try to nade me and I'm BAP and I'm behind a window, I 100% know I still have the advantage in this fight, and I'm going to continue to challenge you. That had to be a sleep dart. Of course, I suppose I should rewind. We're not talking about why are you here in the first place. So here you are. You're like, oh yeah, well I had cover here. Now I'm just going to stand sort of in the corner. Not sure where my cover is. Still not sure where my cover is. Where's my cover going to be? As this fight evolves, where's my cover? Is my cover this doorway? That's valid. That's valid if this is my cover. If things go south. Sure. Sure. Wait, now what's my plan? Huh. Now I'm in a rough spot because this doorway isn't my cover anymore, but surely I'm rotating to make this doorway my cover. Surely that's what I'm doing. Why am I standing still? Why am I here? Why am I standing in the open? The fight evolved and I'm standing in the open. As I'm moving, I'm not thinking about what my next set of cover is. And this happened to you back on first point 2 in that very first fight. You just got caught in the open. And I don't mind you being in the open when you're rotating. That's going to happen sometimes. But you should actually be rotating. And that doesn't mean it has to be a straight, I walk in a straight line and get shot. But it should be I walk, I pause for a moment. I walk, I double back, I go forward again. I walk, I pause, I double back, I go this way again. Like you should be working your way over there in a much better manner than you are. You are doing too much. Like I walk over and then I just forget about it and I sort of stand a bit and I do some AD strafing. And some AD strafing. And oh yeah, I'm going to the right, etc. Like no, this is not good. This is a much better rotation path right here than this is. Much better. And you're doing too much of this, or even like, and I just forgot.
Hoi.
Yeah, no.
Hoi.
You're reaching for better sleeps than you have. You're reaching for like more challenging sleeps than you have, and I don't mind that because you're probably pushing yourself to do better, and that's fine. So I think I'm gonna lay off. Obviously, you're fairly certain that they're there. You go for the sleep. You're trusting that you can aim in time, and you simply can't aim in time yet. Yeah, I'm gonna live with that. Good sleep or good nade. Wouldn't have pushed in there. I have no comfort over what's over here. Like, I don't have a good enough understanding of what's over here for me to actually step in here enough to shoot at my Sigma. Sigma, he got his nade. I'd love to heal him, but I'm just not confident enough in my understanding of what's over here for me to heal the Sigma without checking what's over here. I'm simply not. Your life is worth more than his. That's how you've got to think about it. It's not always true, but it's how you want to generally think about it. Why are you reloading in the open? Because of the contest? Ugh. Fine. We're not doing a good ratio with our sleeps.
في الامتحان يكرم المرء أو يهان. I will keep you real.
Would pushing out left for the high ground there have been better than the middle high ground? She kind of got pulled to the right because she was going right to heal her Sigma, which was perhaps its own questionable decision. And then she decided to pressure the hog that was still there, which was reasonable enough. So I think how that unfolded, it was reasonable that she didn't hard change her mind and go the other way. Plus, there was a Reinhardt the other way. He might have been dealt with by the Kree, but there was a Reinhardt the other way.
Immortality field down.
Okay.
Watch yourself.
Can we not do this? Can we not?
Regen burst activated.
Like, I don't mind taking the first shot on a Widow who's not aware of you to pressure her to make her life more uncomfortable. That's actually not bad, but this is such a predictable sniper approach for you to be on. Like, this is a place that she's usually going to be paying attention to, and your team wasn't a super big distraction yet.
Personne n'échappe à mon
She
regard.
knows you're here. Fine.
Heal up.
Absolutely not. No. No. You may not use your nade like that. You know this. You know this. Your nade is to turn enemies purple. Purple. Your nade is to self-heal. Your nade is to increase the healing received. These are uses of your nade. These are all good uses of your nade. Can also be used for damage and some combos on, heroes that are dueling you, etc. when you've already slept them, all those things. But primarily, you are looking for your nade to get one or more of these benefits. You did not need to increase the healing received by your Zarya and your Sigma. Your Zarya and your Sigma are not getting pushed hard by enemies. They're not in a brawl. Your Zarya put up her bubble. Healing your Zarya faster is not doing you any favors here. It's not increasing your uptime so you can take more shots at the opponents. It's not the only way you're keeping your Zarya alive because she's just getting chunked by a Reinhardt that's swinging at her and you need it to keep up. No, they were low health, yes, but the nade didn't help them. Just shoot them. Just shoot them. Your nade is too valuable to use for this. Again,
Enemies in
My
Why?
ultimate is ready. Get in there, and I will boost you.
Oh. Numlock got unhit. Great! Uzara has low health. I don't care. She has a bubble up. She's totally fine. Even before that thing hits, yes, Widow could take her out. Widow could absolutely take her out. But that's why she used her bubble.
You're covered.
And you nading her doesn't stop... whatever. You nading her doesn't stop Widow from being able to take her out. Widow can still take her out.
My ultimate is ready. Get in
Until
there,
you'd
and I
healed
will
her up
boost
to
you.
full. Which, she was going to be behind cover by the time you could heal her to full.
My ultimate is ready. You're
Boy.
powered up. Get in there.
Are we taking space into this? Is that what we're doing? Are we taking space? Are we pushing out to take space? I don't think we're pushing out to take space. And if we're not pushing out to take space, why are we nanoing? Like, we don't have enough people to push out and take space. Their sites are still going. I don't want to push right now. I doubt your Sigma really wants to push right now, though maybe. Your Sigma seems to be a hero sitting here in the middle of the lane with no cover except their own barrier. I don't like it.
Cannot be stopped.
Can you please stop repeatedly peeking the Widow?
Being enhanced.
Yeah, just heal Zarya from here, no problem.
Back in the fight. Group up with me.
Careful, your BAP is drawing that sight line. Now you can peek the sight line if you want. Okay. No one was ever really going to be able to follow up on that nade, but I'll live. Cool. We hit a sleep!
Go. I'll
Turn,
keep you
he's
here.
healed. Get your McCree. Please get your McCree over there. Please get your McCree over there. Please get your McCree. Keeping your Sigma up here. Very high priority. I approve.
Go.
Lamp
I
just
keep you
came
here.
out, and you know your McCree is weak and on a very good angle. If you're going to get into this game, it's going to be off of the back of, now that your Sigmas are in the Flux stuff, if you're going to continue to get on into this game, it's going to be off of the back of your McCree doing things like this from his good angle. That's what it's going to be. So, please heal him. Because he's going to really struggle to want to do much work from his angle with his 50 health. Oh, look, you have 9 shots and there's a McCree over there. No problem. Let's heal him. I don't care about that nade as much as I care about healing your McCree, to be honest. I definitely don't care about healing your half-health Sigma that has a barrier. I don't. I really don't. Like, you might be thinking, oh, the Sigma needs to stay alive because the Sigma is the one that's going to contest the cart, and that's right, but what's actually going to let you win the game and not just be playing for a stall is getting your McCree back up. Yeah. ML7 Widow duels all the time. Isn't it a good skill to practice? ML7 is better than a lot of players he's playing against, and ML7 is Widow dueling using his abilities a lot of the time. Like this Widow is, like this Anna is trying, like this Anna is trying to use their sleeps, etc. But as you're all aware, ML7 hits a lot more sleeps than this Anna. This Anna is trying. They're trying to improve their sleeps would be my guess, and that's fine. As for Widow dueling, not really. Like, if you're trying to play a standard productive game, highest probability win, etc., no, you don't really want to be Widow dueling that aggressively. Now, you take shots on Widows who are distracted, you chip them down, and if you get the 2 lead shots on them, you might fight them for the 3rd shot, because then you're both in one-shot territory, and you actually scope a little faster, so that works in your favor, sure. But you have to be careful how you're approaching those fights. And also, the way ML7 plays his Anna in general, I don't have an issue with how ML7 plays his Anna, but the way ML7 plays his Anna is he is very much playing... How do I put this? He plays an aggressive Anna, and that's totally fine. But he's playing his Anna very much for he's going to be in a position to get value out of his cooldowns as his cooldowns come up. And he consistently gets enough value out of his cooldowns by positioning to get value and then having the mechanics to get the value out of them that it's like, shouldn't he be getting punished for this? No. It's just like if we go back to a GOATS team where it's like, oh yes, your Rein used their Zarya bubble and now they're vulnerable. No, they're not, because they used their Zarya bubble and got value from it. They got 2 swings off, so the other Rein is weaker and can't just overwhelm them because they got appropriate value from their bubble. Even if they don't have their bubble anymore, they got 40 energy for their Zarya and they got 150 damage done to the other Reinhardt. And is that going to get healed up? Yes, but there was enough value gotten from it that the team that doesn't have their bubble isn't now vulnerable. On the other hand, if they use their bubble, don't get swing value of it, and the bubble gets starved, yes, that team is now valuable to being all in, to being pushed, to being rushed, etc. And it can be the same way with using your Ana cooldowns, etc. Anyway, I don't mean to turn this into an ML7 rant. I'm just pointing out he's able to do these things in part because he's going, hey, I'm consistently getting value from my cooldowns, and he's setting himself up to immediately get value. He's setting himself in positions to be able to get value as soon as they come up, which is great. I recommend people do that. Okay. Blue Widow? I just call that 4. I mean, I just call that 4.
What?
Good.
This will only hurt for a minute. I need healing. This will only hurt for a minute.
Just heal your Sigma. You've got 8 shots left. Just put 2 shots in your Sigma. Don't reload here. You're in a safe spot. Your team is relatively safe except your Sigma. This isn't really a pre-fight reload thing. This is a heal your Sigma. Like, this is how this fight looks because you guys are playing very pokey stuff with widows at each other, etc. You should heal him rather than do this. Oh well.
I need healing. I need healing.
Careful.
You're covered.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. So you know the issue, right? It's not that you challenge the Widow here. Why are you here? Here, you have cover. Here, you sort of have cover if you want it. Does that look like a good place for you to be standing? That's a little better. And then you decide when you're under pressure not to use your cover, but to run back through the open. And I forgive you a little bit because the Widow closed the sight line on you and she was low health and she wasn't going to pressure and she was the primary range threat that you were worried about. But you didn't go into your cover when you were threatened there. You didn't go into the cover that the BAP expected you to go into and would have healed you in. You went through the open. And again, I know this is the 3rd time I've hit this point, but you like the open a little too much. There, you didn't pause in your transition, but...
Mrs. Nano Boost is ready to deploy. It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
No one can hide from my sight.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate is fully charged. Get in there. Watching your back.
Okay. If you want to sneak down here for, like, again, for Widow challenging, if you want to sneak down here for a peek on a Widow, that would potentially be acceptable because you can get a 2-shot lead on her. But I'm not actually recommending it.
Nano Boost is ready. Get in there, and I'll hit you.
I'm not recommending it. I'm just not saying, like, that's the play to make right now.
You're powered out. Get in there.
Especially defensively.
It's going to hurt.
Fire at will.
I'm not worried. Let's clean up. You've won the fight.
في الامتحان. شكرا. Thanks. I need healing.
Okay. That was hopeful, to say the least. reloading as you step into the open. I don't love that. And now you're just playing here? Why are you still here? Why are you still here? So the wander here was to get a nade off. Okay, I'll live with it. Now continue wandering to cover. Wander back to cover. Don't wander here. The cart is not good enough cover. The cart at this distance is not good enough cover. Please get to a real spot. Okay, cool. We're looking up an angle. Are we going to use our sleep, or are we going to wait on our nade? Okay, Widow's gone. Should you still be here? Should you still be scoped? I don't know why Sigma pulled back his shield that you were clearly using, but should you still be here? Absolutely not.
No one can hide from my sight.
30 seconds remaining.
Please don't peek on the same angle as your team. Not if you're trying to challenge the Widow.
I have your back.
It's too predictable.
Step right.
You're powered up.
Good.
Get in there.
Now with the nano, that creates space for you to go for this peek. Good.
10 seconds remaining.
Let them up.
You're not allowed to miss that.
Let them up.
You just need to practice sleeps. Like full on. Your reach, if you're not hitting that sleep every time, you are not ready to be pushing for some of these sleeps that I'm seeing you try to push your limits to, etc. Like, you have to learn to crawl before you can walk. You have to learn to walk before you can run. And if you miss this sleep, I don't know, even one time in 10, if you miss it one time in 100, no big deal. But if you miss this sleep even one time in 10, you are not ready for these. Let me round the wall sleep you. Let me, hear that I take damage and press sleep and turn and try to do. No. You're going to have to actually find your targets and aim before you press the sleep button, and then continue to aim if that's where your sleeps are right now. But what I'd actually recommend is that I actually recommend going and specifically drilling, working on your sleeps. Because I see that you want these super cool reaction sleeps and these across the map sleeps and these aha around the corner and instantly answer this with sleep. I see you want these, but you've been low probability. The only one you really hit was up here, and you just missed this sleep against a ball that had basically nowhere to move, had been stunned, pre-stunned for you. Like, no. Temporal, why don't you critique jumping very often, especially into a Widow? I should probably critique it a little more often than I do. I mean, I'm always prioritizing, hey, what's going to get the most value for people? I should probably critique jumping a little more, not necessarily because it's huge value increases, but I've already talked about this Anna's movement a fair bit in terms of, hey, how they move, and then they stand still, and then they go into Adria strafes, rather than being like, hey, eh, 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 I'd prefer this. And I don't know that I want the whole video to be about their movement. Yes, jumping is not terribly good. Crouching is better than jumping. Even better is actually stopping your movement for a moment to throw off people's momentum, tracking, flicks, etc. But that's fine. I'll live. I do sometimes go into it. I probably could go into it more. I probably should go into it more. Question, would it be wrong pretending Overwatch is a tactical cover-based shooter? You always move from cover to cover. Tank shields seem unreliable. That's not at all wrong. You generally are moving from cover to cover. You get a little bit of an exemption during your cleanup phases sometimes when you're cleaning up. Hey, we've already won and we're cleaning up. And you get a little bit of an exception sometimes as a DPS hero, either again in that cleanup phase or as a DPS hero with high mobility. But mostly especially if you're a hero without mobility, you're very much thinking of the game in a cover-to-cover fashion. It's either cover to cover or cover to opponent or opponent back to cover. Like that's all of it. Well, I highlight this a ton on Reinhardt, but this does apply to basically everybody. Temporal mechanics mini guide 1. Good question. Good question. Tank shields are to get from cover to cover. They're not supposed to be a permanent cover. Yeah, sure. You can catch a ride on the tank's shield bus from one cover to another, and if you miss it, you can find your own way. Okay. Really? You're out. Keep walking forward. Keep walking forward. Why are you turning around? That's tragic. Any of these people go down, it's your fault. Because Zarya gave you the bubble instead of someone else. In that flux. And that's why all these people are low. And you shouldn't have been in the flux. Okay.
Thank you. Need someone to tuck you in.
Okay, so you've got problems. Not like terrible problems, but the problems that I would so far be focusing on are your movement. You just forget to go to a new set of cover and you hang out in the open, and that's not great. You've also got your sleep dart mechanics just are not at the level that you're trying for them to be at, and that's going to mean you need to flat go practice them. Like you flat out are going to need to go train your sleep darts. I would recommend custom games for that. I would recommend turning down the cooldown on it so that you can go get lots of practice with it. You can go into deathmatch and get your practice there. That's fine. I don't mind that. But I would first start with getting more comfortable than I think you are, which is going to be custom games. Those aren't going to be perfect because you're going to find in custom games that people... let me rephrase that. You're going to find in custom games you're not going to get your opponents moving how real opponents move, but you're not to the point yet where I think it's where you would move on. You need to level up these sleep darts, and then you can go into DM and practice there, etc. Yeah. So those are the two things that are jumping out at me. Obviously, we could talk about your challenging of the Widows. I think you know that's wrong. Like, I think you know it's wrong how much you're challenging the Widows, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that with how you're challenging her specifically. We saw a little bit of a nade thing. We saw some questionable nanos, but I'm going to put those on the back burner for now. Maybe they'll climb to the forefront.
I'll be watching your back, but be careful.
Fine. That was a little ambitious. Why are you reloading in the open? Fine. In front of the cart for this?
Many find the universe confusing.
Nano boost is charging.
The beauty of it.
Group up with me.
Okay.
I'm here for the mini.
You gonna look for an aid? Not really. If you're, like, I'll live, but like, you know, we go over here to look for an aid, but whatever. I'll live. I'll live.
Heroes never die. Watching your back. My ultimate is charging.
Okay, I don't like that you're here. I don't like that you're here.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, and now he's pulling a distraction for you. They will pay attention to your Sigma, even if it's to run from him. So you loop around here to get your nade off. That's what happens right now.
This will help.
Okay, sleep the kid. You're not allowed to miss that.
We're
I know you're shooting through a teammate, but you're not allowed to miss that. Okay.
No one can hide from my sight.
I'm not a big fan of Nano Sigma either, to be perfectly honest. It can make sense sometimes when people jump your Sigma, when, you know, the Rhine pushes in on your Sigma and the Sigma can't win, but you need to save your Sigma. It can make sense, but it's not great. It's not terrible. It's got its place, but it's not my favorite either. Good! We're gonna go to sleep, right? Questionable.
Nano boost is charged.
No, there's not an offensive nade to be had. Okay, that's not what you're doing. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Your team can't follow up on this. Your team isn't going to be able to follow up on this. Your team isn't even going to be able to take space off of this. This timing is wrong.
My ultimate is almost ready. My ultimate is ready. You're powered up. Get in there.
Ouch. Ouch. That's fine. You wanted the echo.
Heroes never die.
And I know you wanted the echo.
Fire at will. 60 seconds remaining.
Get me.
Good nade.
Get back in the fight.
Healing stream engaged.
Why did you have to be here to heal her instead of here where you were before? This was totally fine to heal her from. No. Heal your echo again. Don't shoot at the Rhine. Heal your echo again.
I've seen you. You're going to live.
No? Like, let your echo be the spear. Let your echo do all the work. You don't need to aggressively take this. You're going to take this angle or this angle, but let your echo go in a little harder. Let your mercy support your echo. Let them go in, and then you take the angles and do the cute stuff. You don't push in just because you have the mercy. You yell at your mercy to pocket the echo. Oh my goodness. You are soaking so much mercy right now. Oof.
Turret destroyed.
Jeez, I wonder what our echo could have done in that time.
Payload moving forward. Damage systems increased.
Trying to destroy it. Then it goes to you. Still on you. Okay. Our echo wasn't going to do amazing during that. Principle still stands though. Fine.
30 seconds
Okay, that Torb in the doorway is about as easy as you're going to get for a sleep dart. I'm not convinced you can hit it, but it's about as easy as they get. Okay, you went there instead. Does this feel right? Does this feel right to you? You have the cart, sort of. Now you're here in the open. Now you're still here in the open. Still here in the open. You're kind of working. Oh, wait. Back into the open. No. No, I like the open. Okay, now I've got some cover again. No, no, I really do like this open. I really like this open a lot. Okay, I kind of like this light post. It could be some good cover, or I could use the truck. Okay, fine. I'm good over here.
This will only hurt for a
And
minute.
the Anno isn't quite as in the open as it looks like from the third person up here, because there are things sort of in the way between her and the opposing team some of the time, but they're things that are harder for her to manipulate, for her to keep between her and the team if she wants to, than if she's tighter on actual cover that she can use.
10 seconds remaining.
You're powered up.
Okay.
Victory.
Things I would work on with your Anna. Things I would start on with your Anna. Really, you aren't getting nearly enough value out of this ability. You hit what, like 2 sleeps? Yeah. So at this point, at your level of sleep usage, you're actually better a lot of the time not using your sleep, just so that the enemies have to respect that you have it, because you're not accurate enough yet with it yet, at least for this level of play, or at least in this game. Maybe it was a bad day for you. But this game is all I have to judge you by. So what you need to do here is you need to go drill, specifically work on your sleep dart. And you can do that in DM, like I said, and that's fine, but I would actually more directly work on it by going into a custom game, setting up something where you can turn the cooldown down to its minimum, and like practice hitting your sleeps. Practice hitting flicks with your sleeps. Try to practice hitting flicks with your sleeps on moving targets once you're good at hitting flicks with your sleep. And then once you feel like, okay, I've got this, there's not a ton more value. I've gotten some of the good value out of trying to hit my flick sleeps on moving targets. Let me go into DM where I can get actual live opponents more often to get this practice on, etc. Or maybe you skip the DM and you just go right back into games, etc. But I would like you to directly work on your sleeps if you're going to try to use your sleeps, how you're using them. And I have no problem with how you're trying to use your sleeps. Your mechanics just simply are not there. And you're not going to get there by trying to go, you're like trying to do level 7 sleeps, I'm making up the number scheme, and your sleeps are currently at like level 2. And this is just too big of a gap. If you were at like level 5 sleeps and you were trying to do level 7 sleeps, you could get there. But this is such a big gap that it's not like, oh, I don't want you to, this isn't the thing of like, I don't want you to do this sleep because, this sleep, even if it's right, because you should be afraid that you can't hit it. That's not what I'm saying. It's just you're not going to, by repeatedly trying to hit this sleep, get better at your sleeps very quickly. This sleep is still fine in matches to go for. Like, it's correct. It's reasonable. I don't have an issue there. The issue is going for this sleep. It's like trying to do an advanced trick shot and something else when you don't have the mechanics of the normal shot down yet. The fastest way to build to that trick shot is not to just practice the trick shot forever. It's to go, let me work on something more basic that's a foundational building block, and then another foundational building block, and then this will be easier to work on. I'll get there faster than if I just worked on this directly. So that's what I want you to do. The other thing I want you to do is I need you to be more aware of your rotations. You're doing these rotations and you just stop. You just stop in the middle. And you don't like firmly plant like a tree. You still do some AD strafing, but you get yourself pulled, or you choose to rotate away in such ways that you leave yourself in the open for too long. You like forget what you're doing. So that's going to be hopefully the easier thing to work on, or at least the thing you can implement without directly practicing in custom games. You can just implement right when you go back to playing, which is, hey, I want to use 5 to 15% of my brain while playing the game to actively be thinking about, okay, where am I going to? Like, where am I going to? Wait, why am I in the open? I don't have cover on my screen. I feel uncomfortable. Where was I going? That's the cover I was going to. When you rotate out into the open, I want you to know the next set of cover you're going towards, and there should be a little bit of a magnet that's pulling you towards that next set of cover. I hope that makes sense. Those are the two things that I would most recommend you work on. I talked about the sniper thing. I suppose I can make the sniper thing a third point, but I don't really feel like it because I think you just know not to do that. I think you know not to do that. If you don't, please don't challenge the sniper like you are. If you are going to challenge a sniper, you're going to do it when your team is providing a credible threat. You're going to do it when you're peeking an angle that she hasn't seen you contribute from yet, so you're peeking a new angle. Just like you'd peek a new angle to use a sleep dart or a nade offensively, you'd peek a new angle to take a couple offensive shots at the sniper, and then if you get the lead, you can potentially continue to fight her. If you don't get the lead, you just go right back to your old angle where you defensively more contribute to your team until she's distracted again. So that's what I've got for you. If people have questions, please throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see if we have any sort of promos, events coming up, all that good stuff. Okay, so would have a field day with this? Yes, he would have. This video was so good I forgot to press the like button. That's okay, you can press it now. You don't learn hard music at written tempo, you slow it down and then work up to written tempo. There you go. There you go. Don't do what you know not to do, Diamond Tana. You should learn it at 5/4, like 1.2 times tempo. Okay, okay. Sounds like that's going to do it. I'm not seeing any other questions at this point, so I think I'll go ahead and call it there. Question, which is worse? Needlessly defensive Ana or feeding Ana? Feeding Ana is worse than needlessly defensive. You can... Hard defensive Anas probably cap out in high gold now. Probably. Obviously, there's ways to make exceptions to that, but that's probably about where hard defensive Anas cap out, a little bit of plat. But, hard feeding is obviously really, really not good. Yeah. Run before you walk, walk when you're tired. Okay. That's going to do it. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.